Hey, what's new and exciting? It's Kevin O'Shaughnessy here. And from time to time, I get the question, why don't you teach how to play songs on your channel? The answer to that is coming up. If this is your first time visiting the channel, welcome. As I said, my name is Kevin O'Shaughnessy. I've been a professional musician for 20 years. I've been an instructor for 13 of those years. And my goal here is to help enthusiastic guitar players get better at their craft, hopefully a little quicker. I also do videos from time to time on songwriting and music production, so if any of that sounds interesting to you, please consider subscribing. So why don't I demonstrate how to play songs on this channel? Well, quite frankly, there are thousands of channels out there that do just that. So to me, my way of thinking, if I'm not offering something different, it does you guys a disservice because there's plenty of places. If you want to learn how to play a Beatles song, there are plenty of places where people show you how to play Beatles songs or whatever it happens to be. So unless I can offer a new insight, there's really, in my mind, no point in doing that because you can certainly find that information someplace else. There are exceptions, though. A few months ago, I did a video, a couple of videos actually, on Metallica's Master of Puppets, because I do think that I have a somewhat different interpretation of that song. And if that interpretation can help you play it better, then it makes sense for me to do a video about the song. But even then, it wasn't really about how to play the song so much as how to think about the changing time signatures in the song or what I thought the emotional context of the song was. So it still wasn't a straight play-by-play. The second reason I tend not to demonstrate how to play songs on this channel is because it's simply not my focus. If you've been looking for guitar lessons for any length of time, you've probably come across a guy named Troy Grady and his show Cracking the Code, which I think is absolutely phenomenal. And he was a big influence on me in terms of just starting to take my channel more seriously. But where he tends to focus pretty much exclusively on picking technique, I noticed that there weren't a lot of people. As a matter of fact, I've yet to really find many videos at all from people talking about the overall mechanics about playing the guitar. How do you sit with the guitar? How do you stand with the guitar? What does your fret hand have to do in order to get good sounds out of each of the notes? I didn't see a lot of people talking about that, and it was something that I had a great deal of interest and expertise in, so I made that the focus of my channel. The last reason I tend not to demonstrate how to play songs on my channel has to do with copyright and video blocking. Now, I vaguely remember from my music business classes back in college that the fair use clause of copyright law was always kind of a gray area. They tried to be as specific as they could, but it was still a little off, and that was a number of years ago, and I imagine not much has changed at this point. There was always a question in terms of how much of a song could you use for various purposes. As I recall, news broadcasts didn't have to pay any royalties or worry about copyright if they were using a song as part of their news story. A lot of times for educational purposes you could use snippets for these things, but it was always a little subjective. So it was always kind of a gray area when you tried to claim the fair use clause when you were using somebody else's music. Now, some artists, or at least their management or other interested parties, can be very aggressive when it comes to filing claims against especially YouTubers for using their work without express permission. The problem is that in order to really get good at an instrument, you have to spend some time emulating the masters. And without some sort of an instructor, somebody providing guidance as to what's important about the technique that a player is using or the phrasing that they are employing or the intent behind the song and the emotional content that they're trying to express. Without somebody to share that, it's kind of hit or miss. You might get all the notes and the rhythms right, but if you don't understand the point of the piece, which is not always clear, even from some performances that you might see, you need that instructor to be able to say this is what's important about that song and about how to play it. And unfortunately, with the way things are sometimes, some artists, like I said, are very protective of their work and they don't want it shown by anybody else for any reason. Now, the people who lose out in this whole deal really are you, the viewers, right? Because you're the ones who are getting deprived of this lesson. Yes, I get an interruption in my my streaming schedule, right? If I post a video and somebody calls me out on a copyright claim or something like that, YouTube pulls the video down, then yeah, you know what, there's an interruption. I post videos every week and, you know, one week you might not see a video because I have to deal with this. But you guys are the ones who really lose out in this deal because you're missing out on that valuable information. Now, as a side note, let me be clear. This is not YouTube. This is the artists or the artist management or their publishers, somebody who's representing their work. These are the people that are actually filing the claims. YouTube's actually got what I think is a pretty cool way of handling this. A few years ago, I put together a cover of Joe Satriani's Satch Boogie. I put it up, and sure enough, a day or so later, I got a little note from YouTube that says, hey, we've noticed that you've used this song in one of your videos. Now, I didn't get any strikes on my channel, but what happened was YouTube started putting ads in front of my video and then sent the revenue off to Joe Satriani, which to me makes perfect sense. Absolutely. It's his song. He wrote it. He made it famous. I'm just showing off. Well, maybe it's showing off, maybe it's not, but I'm just presenting my interpretation of his song, and he absolutely deserves the credit and the revenue for it. So here's the question of the day. Where do you all go to learn songs online? Is it online? Do you go to songbooks? Do you learn things by ear? Do you have a go-to channel that happens to specialize in your favorite style of music that somehow has gotten around a lot of these copyright issues? Do you use online forums like Ultimate Guitar or something like that to learn tunes? Connect with me in the comments and let me know, because I'm really curious. And I think the community at large definitely would do much better to learn all this great music if we pool our resources and figure out where we can get the best stuff. So with that, thanks so much for watching. I'm Kevin O'Shaughnessy. I'll see you in the next video.